Single dad fixed woman's car on way to blind date not, knowing she was the date. He dreaded. Asterisk Marcus Chen stood by the open hood of his truck, wiping his hands on an old rag. The snow was falling harder now, coating everything in white. He checked his watch and cursed under his breath. He was supposed to be at the restaurant 15 minutes ago for a blind date his sister had set up. A blind date he absolutely did not want to go on. At 42 years old, Marcus was tired of being set up. Tired of awkward conversations with women who expected him to be someone he was not. He was a single father to a 10-year-old daughter. He owned a small auto repair shop. He had grease under his fingernails more often than not. He was not the polished businessman these women seemed to expect. But his sister Rachel had been relentless. Just one date, Marcus. She is perfect for you. A teacher. Kind, smart, beautiful. The usual promises that never materialized into anything real. Marcus had planned to cancel. He had rehearsed the text message in his head a dozen times. But then his daughter Mia had looked at him with those knowing eyes and said, "Dad, you deserve to be happy too." So here he was, driving through a snowstorm to meet a stranger. When he noticed the car pulled over on the side of the highway, hazard lights blinking, steam rising from under the hood, Marcus did not hesitate. He pulled over behind the stranded vehicle. It was what his father had taught him. You do not drive past someone in trouble, ever. He grabbed his flashlight and toolkit from the back and approached the car. Through the driver's window, he could see a woman on her phone, looking frustrated and worried. She had long, dark hair and was wearing a tan coat. When she saw him, her eyes went wide with a mixture of hope and caution. Marcus knocked gently on the window. "Evening, ma'am. Looks like you are having some car trouble. I am a mechanic. Can I take a look?" The woman hesitated for just a moment before rolling down her window a few inches. "Oh, thank God. Yes, please. It just started overheating and making this terrible noise. I have somewhere I need to be, and I am already so late." "Let me see what I can do," Marcus said with a reassuring smile. He went to the front of her car and lifted the hood. The problem was immediately clear. A burst radiator hose. It happened often in cold weather, especially if the hose was old. It was an easy fix if you had the right parts, which Marcus did. He always kept spare hoses in his truck. As he worked, the woman got out of her car, holding a coffee cup she had grabbed from the passenger seat. "Is it bad?" she asked nervously. "Burst radiator hose," Marcus explained, not looking up from his work. "Happens in this weather. I have a spare. I can get you back on the road in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Really?" Relief flooded her voice. "You are a lifesaver. I am supposed to be meeting someone, and I am already 20 minutes late. He is probably going to think I stood him up." Marcus smiled to himself. "I am sure he will understand. Car trouble is car trouble." I hope so," she said softly. "To be honest, I did not even want to go on this date. My best friend set it up. She said he was this great guy, a single dad, owns his own business. But blind dates are always so awkward, you know." Marcus froze for just a second, then continued working. "Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I am supposed to be on a blind date right now, too. My sister set it up. She described this woman as perfect, but I have heard that before." The woman laughed, and it was a genuine sound that cut through the cold air. "Your sister and my best friend should start a matchmaking service. They seem very confident in their abilities." "Too confident," Marcus agreed, tightening the last connection on the new hose. "There you go. Should be good now. Let me just check the coolant level." He added coolant. The woman moved closer, holding out the coffee cup. "Here you must be freezing. It is the least I can offer." Marcus looked up at her for the first time in the light from his flashlight, really looked at her. She had kind eyes and a warm smile. There was something genuine about her that he had not expected from someone stranded on the highway in a snowstorm. "Thank you," he said, accepting the coffee. Their hands touched briefly, and he noticed she was not wearing gloves. "You should get back in your car where it is warm." "In a minute," she said. "I want to make sure you are okay." Not many people would stop to help a stranger on a night like this. "My dad taught me to always help when you can," Marcus said simply. "He said you never know when you might be the one who needs help." Wise man, she said softly. He was, Marcus agreed, a touch of sadness in his voice. He passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. I am sorry, she said, and the sympathy in her voice was real. My mom died 3 years ago. Heart attack. I think about her every day. They stood there in the falling snow. Two strangers connected by loss and the kind of understanding that only comes from walking through grief. Marcus closed the hood of her car. You are all set. Should get you where you need to go. How much do I owe you? She asked, reaching for her purse. Nothing, Marcus said firmly. Just pay it forward. Help someone else when they need it. She looked at him with something like wonder. You are not going to charge me anything? For the parts and your time? It is Christmas season, Marcus said with a shrug. Consider it my good deed. Tears suddenly filled her eyes. Thank you. You have no idea how much this means. I have had the worst week, and this just felt like the last straw. But you stopped. You helped. You did not have to, but you did. We all need help sometimes, Marcus said gently. No shame in that. She wiped her eyes and laughed a little. Now I am crying in front of a stranger. Great first impression. Sometimes strangers are easier to cry in front of, Marcus said. They do not have any expectations. She nodded, understanding passing between them. Then she glanced at her phone and groaned. I am now 40 minutes late for this blind date. I should probably just cancel. He has definitely given up on me by now. Should still go, Marcus heard himself say. If he is worth anything, he will have waited. And if he did not wait, then you know everything you need to know about him. She smiled at that. That is good advice. What about your date? Are you still going? Marcus checked his watch. He was now 50 minutes late. I honestly do not know. I was looking for an excuse to cancel anyway. Why? She asked. If you do not mind me asking, Marcus sighed. Because I am tired of trying to be someone I am not. These women my sister sets me up with, they want some polished version of a man. But I am just a mechanic who is trying to raise a daughter and keep his business afloat. I have grease under my nails and my truck is 12 years old, and I would rather spend a Saturday fixing someone's car than going to some fancy restaurant. Woman looked at him with something like recognition. I get that. I am a 4th grade teacher. I spend my days with kids who have runny noses, and I wear the same 3 pairs of shoes because they are comfortable. I am not glamorous or exciting. I am just trying to do my job and be a good person. And that never seems to be enough for these blind dates. They stared at each other in the falling snow, and Marcus felt something shift. Some recognition that went deeper than words. What restaurant are you supposed to be at? He asked quietly. Giovanni's on Market Street, she said. You. Marcus felt his heart skip. Giovanni's on Market Street. Her eyes went wide. Wait, what is your name? Marcus Chen. She covered her mouth with her hand. I am Isabella Romano. My best friend Rachel set up this date. Rachel Chen is my sister, Marcus said, and then he started to laugh. He laughed so hard he had to lean against her car. We are the blind date. Isabella started laughing too, that genuine laugh he had heard before. We have been talking to each other this whole time. About our blind date. With each other. My sister is going to be insufferable about this, Marcus said, still laughing. My best friend will never let me hear the end of it, Isabella agreed. They stood there in the snow, laughing like old friends. And then the laughter faded into something softer. Something real. So, Marcus said, do you still want to go to Giovanni's? We are both about an hour late now, Isabella smiled. Actually, I have a better idea. There is a diner about 5 miles from here. Betty's place. Best coffee and pie in the state? What do you say we skip the fancy restaurant and just go talk like normal people? Marcus grinned. That sounds perfect. They drove separately to Betty's diner, and over coffee and apple pie, they talked for 3 hours. About their kids, about their jobs, about loss and hope and the daily struggle of trying to be good people in a complicated world. Marcus learned that Isabella loved old movies and terrible puns, that she cried during commercials and sang off-key in her car, that she was raising her nephew after her brother deployed overseas. Isabella learned that Marcus coached his daughter's soccer team and volunteered at the animal shelter, that he still wore his father's old watch and kept his mother's recipe book in his kitchen, even though he was a terrible cook. When they finally left the diner, the snow had stopped. The world was clean and white and full of possibility. "Thank you for fixing my car," Isabella said as they stood by their vehicles. "Thank you for the coffee on the side of the road," Marcus replied. "Can I see you again?" she asked. "Not because our siblings set us up, but because I want to." "I would like that," Marcus said. "I would like that a lot." 6 months later, Isabella would tell people they met on a blind date, which was technically true. But it was not the blind date that mattered. It was the moment on the side of a snowy highway when two people chose kindness over convenience. When they helped each other without knowing who the other was, when they were simply human. Sometimes, love does not come from trying to impress someone. Sometimes it comes from showing up as exactly who you are, grease under your nails and all. If this story warmed your heart and reminded you that the best connections happen when we stop trying to be perfect and start being real, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below about a time when a small act of kindness led to something beautiful in your life. Thank you for listening.